So, Keir, unions that back your party say this energy policy is a ban without a plan because it won't create as many jobs as may end up on the scrap heap. Are you worried it will lose you votes here in Scotland, which is so crucial to a Labour victory?
Look, I've been very, very clear when it comes to the transition that we're not turning off the taps. Oil and gas will be part of the mix for many years. We're not revoking any licences. But a transition is coming. And when Ed and I went to Aberdeen with Anas just a few months ago to talk to the workforce, of course, to talk to the unions, to talk to the energy sector, everybody knows the transition is coming. Everybody's working towards that transition. The investment is already beginning in that transition. Thought is being given about that carbon capture and how the same skills and pipelines could be used. The worst thing we could do now is do what Rishi Sunak is doing and put our head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. And I'll tell you for why. That's what happened when coal was coming to an end. And we're still paying the price in communities across the whole of Scotland and across the whole of the United Kingdom. I'm not prepared to let that ever happen under a future Labour government. This is about the next generation of jobs and the generation after that, because I'm never going to allow a transition to happen which hasn't been planned for. So yes, we want to make sure we guarantee those jobs. We create even more jobs for the future and jobs that have lasted, not just 10 years or 20 years, but, decades and decades and decades to come. The worst thing we can do is put our head in the sand, because that is exactly what the Prime Minister is doing. Anna.
Can I just add to that? Look, I can understand why workers in the North East who have heard 14 years of promises from the Conservatives that have been broken and 17 years of promises from the SNP that have been broken, being really nervous about what happens next. And that's why it's really crucial that we demonstrate that we understand the transition needs to happen. We're all agreed on that, but we work together in collaboration. And as Keir has said, and I'm saying it directly to people in the oil and gas sector, the renewable sector right now, there will be no turning off the tap. There will be no cliff edge. Oil and gas will play a significant role for decades to come, partly because it's the right thing for us to do. We have to protect jobs. But also, if we are to get the scale of investment that's required, we need the oil and gas giants to be part of that investment as we push them towards that renewable future. That's a joined-up plan that is good for Aberdeen, good for the North East, good for Scotland, and good for the UK, and one that UK Labour government will deliver.